All right, let's get back to this. I have not made a video about the movies that I've been watching in a really long time. Part of that is because I started a podcast and I'm watching a lot of movies for that. We're reviewing movies from the 90s, and like each episode we break it down and we go in deep, like spend like an hour going into details of this whatever 90s flick we picked for the week. So if you're interested in that, please check it out. We are called Ambassadors of Kwan, and you can get that basically on any podcasting app. All right, now, over the past couple weeks, at some point, I can't remember when, but I watched Extraction, the Chris Hemsworth movie on Netflix. And I remember when I first watched it, I was like, it's pretty good. I mean, it checked all the boxes of like a badass action movie. Really good action all the way through, nonstop, almost Michael Bay-esque, but not as big, not as, Michael Bay is like buildings exploding, like crashing down. Michael Bay is like, airliners colliding and Transformers hanging onto the wing. Like that, it wasn't like that, but it was nonstop action. It was insane. But when I first watched it, like I said, I was kind of like, that was a pretty good action movie. And then I realized something. I was talking to a friend of mine about it, and I was like, dude, we are so spoiled when it comes to modern movies, like modern action movies specifically, because now they figured out a formula, which is, basically the way you make action movies. It's the right formula. I can't describe it exactly what it is, but you get it. You go see an action movie, it's got this rhythmic formula playing out, and it checks all the boxes, right? But what I realized doing this 90s podcast is that, like, movies weren't always this good. And when a great action movie came along, you were like, holy shit, that was crazy good, right? Now there are so many really good action films that were probably just as good as those back then, right, to us. But there's so many of them back to back to back that we're like, oh, it's just another good action film, right? If you would have released Extraction in 1995, I would have thought it was the greatest action film ever made. Like that's how different it is today. Like what we consider pretty good today would have been blow the doors off amazing, 20 years ago. That being said, Extraction was really good. And it's the first movie I've seen Chris Hemsworth in that is not a Marvel film that was really good. Like, I've seen a couple of the other films that he's been in, and I mean, even the box office speaks for them. Like, they didn't do that great. This one, though, fantastic. I didn't, like, the other movies, I'm like, oh, that's Thor trying to be something else, you know what I mean? It didn't feel like that in this. And maybe it's because it was an action movie compared to some of the other stuff he's been in. But it felt authentic. It could have been anyone in there. It could have been any other action star, and in a sense that I'm not picturing Thor the whole time. I'm not thinking about Thor the whole time. I'm thinking Chris Hemsworth's doing a really good job in this movie. Hell of an actor, not just, Thor, Odin's son. So, that being said, really good movie. Like I said, the plot, kind of generic action film plot, it's called Extraction. It's about going in and extracting someone from a hostile area, right? I'm not going to go into too much detail about the plot. I think you should go watch it and then come back and tell me what you thought about it in the comments. But I thought it was fantastic. And then also, to speak to Hemsworth, he did a watch-along with, I think, the writer and director or some of the writers of the film. And it was great because he was only supposed to join the watch-along for like 30 minutes of the movie or whatever. And it's a 2-hour movie. And he's supposed to come in somewhere in the middle and hang out with the guys and watch it along with them. Do commentary on it. And then at a certain point, they're like, oh, Chris, it's your time's up. Thanks for coming. And he's like, no, I'll stay to the end. and stayed the rest of the time. Like, I think that speaks to him. It's like, that, I don't know, seems like a decent guy to me. But the movie, fantastic, great action, really brutal fight scenes. Like, that was one of the things that set it apart from some of the other action movies that I've seen recently. Is like if you are squeamish, it would be hard to watch. But yeah, thoroughly enjoyed the film. Highly recommend. Looking forward to seeing other things with Hemsworth in it, including Thor: Love and Thunder, coming out in 2022, I think, 2021. Sucker for the Marvel movies, but yeah, I'd like to see him in some other stuff. He did fantastic in this movie. So, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you enjoyed Extraction, let me know in the comments below. If you hated Extraction, let me know in the comments below. And thank you again for watching. And if you want to check out the podcast, it's called Ambassadors of Quan. Like I said, you can find it anywhere. iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, all that stuff. And yeah, we'll see you next time.